Hey guys, welcome back to Telltale. I'm Emily.
I'm Greg.
And today we are going to be talking about Edgar Allan Poe's 3 Sundays in a Week.
We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us.
3 Sundays in a Week is the 85th Edgar Allan Poe in my bibliography of him. And it was originally titled A Succession of Sunday. And it was published in the Saturday Evening Post. I didn't realize it went back that far.
Huh.
Saturday Evening Post I knew was in the
It's been around
30s,
forever.
40s, but I didn't know it went back. It was published in Saturday Evening Post for November 27th, 1841.
Dang.
This is just a short story by Poe. Of
Yep.
course, he only wrote a couple novels, and one of them was unfinished.
Yep. So the synopsis, in short, is a man wants to marry a woman, but his uncle won't consent until there are 3 Sundays in a week.
Yes, and this is, if you're familiar with Poe for things like Mask of the Red Death, Fall of the House of Usher, The Black Cat, this is different. This is a comedy. Straight out comedy. It's a joke. Edgar Allan Poe had a really great sense of humor. It was usually a dark sense of humor, but it brings out a side of him in stories like this that you don't get in his more famous works. So this I felt it was a fun little story. I thought it was very funny.
It is very funny. I compared it to my least favorite book. Not because it was bad. It was a very fun, entertaining story. I didn't hate it. But one of the concepts is something that's in Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. And so that really brought me back to those days of trudging through Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, which was my least favorite book as a kid.
Now we're going to get possibly into spoilers, so if you don't want the story spoiled, this is the time to cut out of the video. We've been doing this to try to provide something faster and quicker for those people that don't want to go all the way through the video. But for those of you that do, if you've read it or if you just think you want to hear about it from us before bothering with it, then stick around. We're going to go a little deeper dive into this.
Yep. Well, a gentleman approaches his uncle because he is ready to marry, I think it's his cousin? It's another cousin love situation. Typical of Poe. Happens a lot in his stories. I'm pretty sure it's his cousin Kate. Anyway, he goes to his uncle and says, "Hey, I want to marry her. Please, in all your generosity and kindness, consent." And his uncle says, "Okay, I'll consent when there's 3 Sundays in a week." So now, to give you background about this uncle, he's a mischievous little bastard. If you tell him what he should think, he goes in the opposite direction until you're blue in the face trying to tell him what he already believes, and then he gives in and is like, "Oh yeah, fine, whatever." So this poor chap just wants to marry his cousin, as one does apparently in Poe stories, and he's just so frustrated and tells the love of his life, Kate. I think it's Kate. Anyway, he tells her, "Uncle said we can't do it until there's 3 Sundays in a week." And then Kate has a brilliant idea. She gets 2 friends who were traveling to distant lands in 2 opposite directions. And because of the way they traveled, which is a similar scenario in Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, each of them experienced Sunday at a different point in the week. So technically, one gentleman thinks Sunday was yesterday. Another gentleman thinks Sunday is tomorrow, simply because of the time zone changes and the directions in which they were traveling. They had all experienced a Sunday, or would experience a Sunday, within the same week.
Right.
So 3 Sundays happened in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how they get the workaround, is by explaining to their uncle that these 2 gentlemen who came to visit from foreign lands had all already experienced or would experience a Sunday, simply by the way that they traveled around the world.
Right.
So then he consented to them getting married, and everyone lived happily ever after, married to their cousin.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, this is a comedy. It's a funny situation. Poe tells it very, very well. He is a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the interesting thing I found about this is that the story serves to teach you how time zones work.
Yes.
Through a fictional construct. And it's really interesting. It makes it easier to understand the situation, the way he places it in this fictional situation.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it easier to understand how those time zones actually work and why there would be 3 Sundays in a week.
Yeah, and I think people have heard sometimes stories of these kinds of things. One of my first experiences realizing, besides Around the World in 80 Days with Jules Verne, was a neighbor of ours when he was coming back from Vietnam. He missed Christmas. Wherever he was, and by the way of him coming back to, out of Vietnam, I don't remember if he was coming back home or not, but everywhere he traveled within the week, he never experienced December 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a year with no Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty common for a lot of people, I guess, who experience military stuff. It was very easy to get your days mixed up and all jumbled up because of getting placed sometimes in multiple spots throughout the world, throughout the week. It was easy to lose track or even lose an entire day or gain an entire day. Yeah. Just simply because of crossing over different time zones, which is fascinating.
Well, and you also hear about airplane flights, where the airplane keeps up with the sun.
Oh, yeah. So
the flight is less than an hour.
Yeah. It lands same day, but it's been a 10-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the sun it never goes down the whole time they're flying.
I experienced that when I was in England.
Oh.
We chased the sun the whole way. So it kind of went down to a sliver.
Okay.
And then when we got to then it started rising again, and then we landed early in the morning. So it was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, time zones are weird.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And of course, for 1841, the vast majority of people have never experienced that and didn't know anything about it. So Poe's story serves as an educational story.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed I liked the character of the uncle, who's just such a sassy bastard.
He thinks he's getting away with something and being clever.
Well, and then it's not only that, it's just to be so obstinate as a person that the second somebody tells you something you agree with, you just decide to play devil's advocate so hard and make it near impossible. What a sassy bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Little bitch. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of fun and sassy because I think we all go through those moments where we want to be super petty about something and we're just like, no, I don't want to agree with you, even though I agree with you. I don't want to. And sometimes it's just the nature of the person who's talking to you where you don't want to agree with them because you don't like them as a person or whatever. But I just think it's really funny that he pulled that crap.
It is.
And it makes him a more comedic. And there was like a narrative that the uncle kept trying to tell in between the conversation about something that had happened to him during that week, which was like the highlight of his week and pissed him off, but not really. He was like it was one of those, and he had an interaction where he was mistaken for a doctor, and so he keeps trying to like bring it into the conversation and gets cut off by his niece and his nephew and the 2 guys who are talking about their travels and whatever. Right. And it's very funny because you can just tell that the uncle is just beside himself. because he thinks very highly of himself enough to be such a little son of a bitch.
Right.
So it's very funny and very entertaining to kind of watch that man put himself on a pedestal and then fall a little.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great.
So it's a very enjoyable story, very funny. I didn't think it was top tail material.
I wouldn't call it top tail
Poe
material.
did better stuff.
And honestly, we are finding the more we read through Poe and read some of his comedy, that comedy was actually pretty strong for him.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just think about his horror, but this guy had he was multi-talented.
Yeah.
So very enjoyable story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much else to say about it.
No, and I keep forgetting to write down what the next story is going to be.
Is it the oval portrait?
That's right. We're doing the oval portrait next. So come on back for that and all the other Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, everything else we do here on Telltale Books. If you've read 3 Sundays in a week, leave your comments in the comment section. We love to hear them. And definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
And if you want to continue to support us, we are available on Pango and Etsy. We sell used books, rare books, and some just really nice used books that are gently used. So feel free to help support us by purchasing that. All of that gets us towards our goal of eventually publishing books that we'd like to bring to you. So thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.